I build plastic models as a hobby in Japan. This video was previously uploaded in Japanese. I have revised it and created an English version. I've added some new information that wasn't in the Japanese version. I will continue to provide the latest information from Japan, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This time, I'll be building Tamiya's 1/48 Hawker Siddeley Harrier. As a new project, I'm starting to assemble all of Tamiya's 1/48 aircraft series kits. First up is the Hawker Siddeley Harrier. The aircraft series originally started in 1/50th scale, beginning with the Zero Fighter Type 52. However, the 1/50th scale kits were discontinued a long time ago and are difficult to obtain. This Harrier is number 12 in the aircraft series, and this number is still used sequentially. This Harrier is the first kit released in 1/48th scale. This package also says 1/48th scale aircraft series number 1. I think Tamiya is trying to reset the aircraft series in 1/48th scale. In any case, I will start with the 1/48th scale. Actually, this Harrier is also a discontinued item, and if it's in good condition, it's a high-priced kit. This time, I got a partially assembled one cheaply at an auction. Now, let's check the contents. The box is quite damaged. The decals are severely yellowing and may not be usable. However, once they are peeled off the backing paper, the yellowing won't be very noticeable because the aircraft color is dark. Nostalgic tube-type glue. The engine is partially assembled. The upper and lower wings have also been glued together. Clear parts are fine. It was a junk item, but all the parts are there. I did a test assembly. It's an old kit, so fitting adjustments are essential. The molding is raised, but I will change it to recessed molding. The opening doors on top of the engine are to show the engine, and the instructions say to just place them on. However, there's a large gap, so I'll glue and shape them. The pilot is unfinished and has putty on his face, so it doesn't seem usable, and I will not put the pilot in. For scribing the panel lines, I use a micro chisel, an owl guide tape, and a homemade transparent plate. I use the guide to scribe along the raised molds. For tight curves, curved masking tape is also fine. Once I've finished scribing, I use a 400 grit stick file to remove the raised molds. The panel lines on the body are finished. I'll use this method to scribe the remaining parts, such as the wings. Before proceeding with assembly, there are some large sink marks on the parts, so I'll fill them with putty. The opening and closing mechanism on top of the engine doesn't fit well, so I'll fix it in the closed position as previously planned. Since the engine won't be visible from above, I'll only neatly finish the visible front side. I'll check if the body fits together with the engine in place. Okay. The instructions only specify colors like light gray, so I'll use Mr. Color numbers referencing the instructions for Hasegawa's 1/72 Harrier. The interior of the aircraft was C-332. Glue the left and right halves of the fuselage together and secure with tape and clips, then wait for it to dry. For the opening section on top of the engine, there's a step if you just place it down. To prevent it from falling down, sandwich it with kneaded eraser. Align the surfaces. Once the position is set, glue it with liquid cement. Because the gap is large and the bonding surface is small, I'll insert stretched sprue to increase strength. I finished filling it, let it fully harden before shaping. While waiting for the adhesive on the opening section to harden, paint the intake body side first, as it will be difficult to paint later.
This side is C331 dark sea gray. The other side is C330 dark green. I painted the body side and the inside of the intake. Masking later will be difficult, so I'll mask it before assembly. I'll attach the intake. I'll shape the opening part of the upper engine. First, I'll sand off the protrusions of the stretched sprue. After sanding, I'll finish it with a file. The canopy has quite a bit of a step, and it looks like it will be difficult to fix. The plan is to glue the canopy first and fill it with putty. Since I'll glue the canopy first, I'll finish the inside of the cockpit. The instrument decals took an hour of soaking in water before they finally peeled off. The adhesive on the backing paper is gone, so I'll use decal glue to attach it. Press it down with a cotton swab and you're done. Applying the decals to the main body is also expected to be difficult. I attached the canopy only to the front part. Apply polyester putty to areas with large gaps, including the opening and closing parts. Poly putty application completed. Start polishing. The rear canopy also has a large gap. Let's stick them together and fill the gaps with putty. This part is also made with polyester putty. That was a bit too bold. I sanded it down without worrying about scratches on the transparent parts. Now I'll start sanding the canopy, first with 600 grit sandpaper.
I sanded it from 600 to 1500 and then from 2000 to 3000 grit sandpaper.
I finished sanding the finishing surface with white sandpaper. It's pretty clear now, but I applied a premium top coat as a finish. I attached the main wings and tail wings. There's a gap at the base of the main wings, so I'll fix that. I completed the repair of the wing roots with Tamiya Putty Basic. First, I masked the canopy in preparation for priming, sticking finely cut masking tape to the windows. Masking the canopy is complete by cutting and pasting. Paint the window frame area with the interior color C332. I didn't want to attach it now, but the fit at the tip wasn't quite right, so I glued and corrected it. After applying primer, I sanded the surface with 3000 grit sponge sandpaper. I wiped off the dust that came off from sanding with a damp cloth. And then I used a stiffer brush to sweep out the dust from the grooves, and now it's time for the main painting. Let's enhance the three-dimensionality with shadow spraying. Spray black along the panel lines. Shadow spraying is complete. Paint the underside with C332, first aiming for the center of the panel. Next, blur the whole thing to achieve your desired look. It's looking good. Next, I'll paint the first color on the top surface, C331 Dark Sea Gray. The tricky part here is how much to blend the paint boundaries, but I've seen a lot of examples online where there's no blending, so I'll do the same this time. Masking is complete. I'll make sure to cover everything properly to prevent paint from splashing and causing an accident. I'll respray the shadows that disappeared when I painted the bottom surface. I've painted C331 Dark Sea Gray. Next is 330 Dark Green, so I'll do the camouflage masking. First, I'll make a template. I don't know the scale, so I'll measure the dimensions in the instructions. Next, I'll measure the actual dimensions and find the magnification. I'll enlarge the instructions using my home printer to make them the same dimensions.
Use wide masking tape to make even larger masking tape. Place it on a rotating stand for easier work. Cut it out with a design knife that easily follows curves. It's cut out. We'll use the masking tape shown below. Check the position. Apply it like this. After diligently cutting and pasting, the masking is complete. Now we'll restore the shadows that had disappeared. The shadows that had disappeared have been restored. The C330 dark green spraying is complete. Now for the fun part, removing the masking tape. The masking tape has been removed. Good. I applied Tamiya Panel Line Accent Color Black evenly to the entire surface with a brush, simultaneously working on panel lining and weathering. I boldly wiped it off with a tissue. This way, the ink remains in the shadows of protrusions, allowing for simultaneous panel lining and weathering. After wiping off the ink, it looks nicely weathered. However, because I wiped it so boldly, some of the ink in the lines has been removed. I repaired the disappeared panel lining lines with a 0.2mm mechanical pencil. Now, regarding the decal application, what you see now is the state it was in about 2 weeks ago. It was severely yellowed, so I exposed it to sunlight to remove the yellowing. I stuck it to a window that received plenty of sunlight for about 2 weeks. The yellowing was removed more than I expected. In any case, reinforcement with decal film is essential. Apply it to each decal with a brush. For the instrument decals, I waited about an hour for them to peel off. Forcing them off will damage them, so cut them all out and soak them in water until they peel off naturally. Since the adhesive in the decals is unreliable, apply decal glue before applying them. Old decals can be damaged if you suddenly move them, so first gently lift them up with tweezers. After confirming that the entire decal has peeled off successfully, apply it. finished applying them. Even with decal glue, the silvering is quite noticeable. My method for removing silvering is apply decal softener. I poked the silvery areas with the tip of a cutter and applied decal softener underneath. Compared to the other side, which I haven't done yet, the silvering is significantly reduced. Once this is done, I'll spray on a clear coat for polishing. Regarding the exhaust nozzle, there are considerable gaps in the fins inside. This time, I'll use UV putty to fill them in. I'll smooth it with a file and finish. The landing gear is mainly silver, but the wingtip landing gear, although small parts, has many areas to paint, so it looks like it will be difficult. I'll use the second variation from the top for the equipment. I assembled the chosen equipment variation. 10 days after spraying on the polishing clear coat, it's fully cured. First, I sanded with 1500 grit sponge sandpaper. After sanding with 1500 grit, the decal edge has disappeared and the top coat is semi-gloss. I'll stop sanding here. The semi-gloss top coat is finished and it looks good. I removed the masking tape from the canopy, but something unfortunate happened. The inside is cloudy. It's impossible to fix now. This cloudiness is caused by paint dust from the airbrush getting into these areas. The cause is insufficient protection against airbrush residue. Static electricity also contributes to this, and as a countermeasure, I usually apply an anti-static agent like this beforehand before attaching the canopy, but I forgot this time. This time, it's impossible to fix, so I'm sorry. The Harrier has wingtip landing gear, which provides 4-point support, and if the length is wrong, the ground contact will be wobbly. First, I temporarily attach the wingtip landing gear and adjust the length. It doesn't seem to be wobbling. All the undercarriage parts are now attached. It's finished.